Hi, everyone. I'm Jeremy White. I have the privilege of leading the platform engineering team at SpotOn. So at SpotOn, we help restaurants run successful businesses. We do this through our point of sale. We have a suite of other products that help handle things such as taking orders, processing payments, running marketing campaigns, managing employees and tips, and ultimately trying to become more profitable as a business. And our goal is pretty simple. We try to make sure that our restaurants are focused on their guests, not on the underlying tooling. Now, for us, observability is a lot more than just about dashboards and alerts. Reliability is really how we make sure our customers are able to operate, because we understand our restaurants depend on us in order to have a successful business. One of the worst nightmares that a restaurant can consider is having to close their doors for some reason and having to turn away their staff and their guests. And that's something that we aim to try to prevent from happening. And the challenge is bigger than just the cloud. We support hardware that's in thousands of restaurants and kitchens across the country. These are places where you deal with a lot of heat, you deal with a lot of grease. The kitchens are basically Faraday cages, so Wi-Fi is not so great. So we rely on observability to help us understand and stay ahead of a lot of those problems in order to avoid interrupting their business and their day-to-day operations. Now, observability only works when people are actually using it. And this is one of the areas where we found Grafana Assistant really helped us out. It's gone from having new engineers stepping in and not being familiar with where our logs and metrics are for all the different services, and actively being able to participate in incidents and triaging. And again, this is all from basically having a conversation with an AI agent as opposed to having to go through all that training and understanding. It's also been helpful with dependencies. We have a lot of different products, so as you span into different products and have to understand how different teams have instrumented their systems, again, Assistant's able to bridge that gap a lot easier for people not familiar with those teams. And one of the areas I really enjoy about it is it solves the blank sheet of paper problem. This is the problem where sometimes it can be a little difficult to get started, right? But with Grafana Assistant, we found that some people could go straight from idea to dashboard and then iterate. And that iteration was a lot easier for people to handle as opposed to solving that blank sheet of paper problem. So this has been a huge boost to our participation in observability, as well as the speed to value and how quickly we can get to value for our customers. One of my favorite examples of this is our client environment team. Now, this is a team of network support specialists. Their goal is to try and make sure that the client networks are operating successfully and not impacting the business at all in any way, shape, or form. Now, these are not Grafana experts, not even familiar with the tooling, but they were able to use Grafana Assistant to get started and create dashboards. Dashboards that could look at one restaurant and be able to tell all the network devices, all the possible problems we might be seeing, pull it together in one place and allow them to triage those issues a lot faster. But they didn't stop there. They kept moving, even though they weren't familiar with the tool, and started to build additional dashboards that moved more to a proactive nature, one where we could identify groups of customers that were experiencing issues that we could contact our support team and have them reach out to the customers and solve the problem before the customer called us asking for help. So this is a great example of where our team can focus on being subject matter experts and focus on solving customer problems, not on the tooling. Sometimes, though, we end up generating so many signals that it can overwhelm some of our development teams and cause more reactive work than we expected. An example of this is, for anyone familiar with Kubernetes, is a kube pod crash looping alert. So this is a common alert that has 100 different reasons for why it could fail. And what we found is we can use Grafana Assistant to decorate that alert and provide additional context of why it happened. Because again, not all engineers are used to troubleshooting this particular issue. So what that did is we had one case where it even found a null pointer reference during the transformation process in one of our services. It noticed right when it happened during the release. And so it made it a lot easier and a lot less time consuming for us to troubleshoot that issue and ultimately get to a solution. So while it doesn't always pinpoint the exact example and the exact solution, it does help build confidence on what to look into and sometimes what not to look into because it rules some things out. So this has really helped us get to that resolution a lot faster. Overall, we're really excited with the capabilities of Grafana Assistant. It's really lowered that barrier of entry, allowing us to get more participation and engagement across our teams in observability. It's sped up that time to value by solving that blank sheet of paper problem. And ultimately, it's allowed us to really focus on solving customer problems and getting to customer outcomes rather than the underlying tooling. So if anyone else is interested in accelerating their observability adoption, I'd encourage you to take a look at Grafana Assistant. Thank you, everyone.